First question that I have for you, how did you come about starting Our Greater Good?
Well, my wife and I moved here from Chicago in 1990. Subsequently, we had 4 children. So we've been very involved with the public schools, being very involved parents, volunteering at Parkview, Thomas Jefferson, the high school, just seeing the fabric of our teachers and our administrators and the helpers, and saw that there was just a whole lot of needs, that we had a lot of children in our community that needed some assistance. So that, through working with the churches in Valpo, we did a project called Share Fest from about 05 to 09, where all the churches in Valpo got together, did one day of community service on a Saturday in October. It got up to where we had like 800 people doing 75 projects in one day. The leader of that moved away and it kind of drifted. But it's always kind of been in our DNA to do service projects. Being a pastor in town, you end up, a lot of needs come to the church building because people look to churches for help. So Our Greater Good, one of the things I noticed, I was very involved in Valparaiso when we built it in 1990, I think it was 94 or 93. And I was very involved in 2014 when we did the new Valparaiso. We have this incredible citizenry, but we don't have a platform where the people in Center Township in Valparaiso can be a part of a team that's a small geographical area to take care of everybody in that small geographical area. So that's what it was. I went through the police boundaries, the fire department boundaries, and landed on the elementary school boundaries because it was the smallest neighborhood central boundaries that almost everybody, even if you're an empty nester, I'd say 99% of the people in Valparaiso know if they're in Central's neighborhood or Parkview's neighborhood. So that's what we did.
What is the ultimate purpose of Our Greater Good?
So it's more about building relationship and being there for the long run. It's not like painting an apartment. We do tons of service projects. But one of our goals is to build relationships that will activate change. The other thing that has come out of doing this for a year and a half is the population of have and have-nots in our city is probably 9,000 to 33,000. One of the things that I found is this number of people that aren't equipped to have a fulfilling adult life. Most of those, it's not because they're bad people. It's because the things we were designed to get from 0 to 12 years old, they didn't get. And there has to be a point. This is not a political issue. This is not an educational issue. This is a localized community issue, which we have the opportunity to recognize that that is what it is. We have an opportunity to say, I'll do something about it. It doesn't make a difference which angle. But in my opinion, from the very first person in Center Township who's a have, whether they're barely getting by, but they're getting by, to the wealthiest person in our city, there has to be bridges built to take ownership and get involved with these children that need more help than what they're currently getting. It's not a quick fix, Todd. You know, what we're going after to do has a 10 to 15 year vision plan to where we're going to see these 5-year-olds at 20 years old having hope-filled, fulfilling adult lives. We've found 5 practices nationwide that have produced great fruit in the cities in which they were initiated, that starts at birth, carries a child through elementary school to really see that every child has a shot to fulfill their greatest potential.
So you just mentioned about the 5 programs. What are the 5 programs?
Right. So we've done Reading Buddies, 30 Million Words, Mentoring, and Project Care. The 5th one is we are hopefully beginning in August of 16 to do a free kindergarten preparedness program with parents as teachers of Porter County. The program's called Ready, Set, Kindergarten.
What is your goal of Our Greater Good? What do you want to see happen? What do you want the legacy of it to be?
What I daydream about is that every single child that grows up within these 4 lines of Center Township has a solid shot at a very fulfilling adult life. I think the people of Valparaiso have got to find whatever their bridge is. My bridge to help is my faith. Some people's bridge to give back to our community and to get involved will be they're thankful for what they have. Some people's bridge to get involved, Todd, is going to be they're generally mercy-oriented people.
If you could ask God a question, what would it be?
Wow. Well, I don't know if I would ask him this question as much as I would continue to pray. Lead me with the heart that is your heart, because I think this was his idea. I don't think our greater good was my idea.
Or partnered together with our greater good?
Yeah, about a year ago, a little bit over a year ago, I reached out to Garner and to see what kind of connections he would have, any kind of ministry that was already happening that we could come alongside of that. And so in that partnership, we got to know Garner and got to have those conversations about what it would look like for VNC to partner with our greater good and with him, and how to be a blessing in this community with what Garner was already doing in this community.
So what were some of the things that you've done in the past with them, and what kind of impact do you think it made in the community?
One of the things that's been good that I've seen Garner do is to be an influence within the schools. And so when our first Serve Day came around last year, Garner partnered us with Flint Lake Elementary, and we were able to send a crew in there and to paint all of the hallways. And so I knew that that was a blessing to that school, as much as it was building a relationship with them. And I know Garner is not just about a one and done type of ministry. It is a building a bridge. It's building these relationships where that relationship can keep on going throughout the year. And that's one of the things I admire too about what Garner is doing. It's not just going and cleaning up a park or doing this, but it is looking longer term, and especially with his relationship that he's got with the schools and the principals, and binding groups and people and families and churches together with the schools, with the parks, with different avenues within our community. And so those are some of the things that we were able to do with Garner.
When I mention Garner Tullis, what comes to mind?
When I hear Garner's name, I think about a servant, somebody who is in our community, who has reached people for the kingdom outside the walls of the church. Someone who is in the trenches, loving people by his relationship with them, by connecting groups and organizations and churches with the community, and just doing all he can that is pastoring this community outside of the pulpit.
So how does somebody wind up getting involved with our greater good or looking up information on it?
Sure, just go to our website. If you go to ourgreatergood.com, you'll see a little hamburger icon in the top right, which is 3 white lines and a little square. You click on that, and then all of our tags of the website will pop up on the whole page. You go down to the bottom, there's it says create a new account. If you click on create a new account, there's 7 little boxes where you fill out email address, first name, last name, and password, and then you'll choose what neighborhood team you want to be on. So when you click the arrow, choose your neighborhood, our 8 neighborhoods are going to drop down, and you just select one. We have already moved over, Todd, to the new school boundaries from the referendum that will go into effect in August of 17. So if you live south of 30, instead of it saying Parkview Central or Hayes Leonard, it's now going to say Heveland Elementary. So that is that map. If you want to see where you live, I have a copy of it, but it's also on Valparaiso School Corporation's website. So all you do is you go to that, go to our homepage, ourgreatergood.com. Then you hit the hamburger icon on the top right, go to the bottom of the list where it says create a new account. You fill in those boxes, it takes about 1 minute. Then once you are a part of a team, then you can create a project in your neighborhood, and whenever a new project comes up onto the website, you will get an email, so if you want to participate, you can.